What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cab Show. We look at today's society and say, where are we going? Who are the leaders? Who's leading us to happiness, to less violence? I just think we look at the bigger picture right now, and we're not going in the right direction. We see the school shootings. We see everything that's happening in the media. And speaking about the media, is the media a virus today? And I think we got away from COVID. Yes, I believe that obviously COVID was real. I got COVID once. I just think, pushing it so much the way they did, I thought that was a little too necessary, but I think we're over that stage. We're over COVID. Now it's more of like, all right, a fight within ourselves. We're fighting each other. We're here in America. It's like, what steps are we taking? We talk about Roe versus Wade as well, but first I want to get into school shootings. What are we doing? What situations or steps are we taking to improve school shootings from happening? That's what I'm saying. Like, what things are we doing? And I think it has to be more than just metal detectors. I even thought of, when you go to the airport, some of their technology that they have at the airport, apply that in some of the schools here. Definitely the high schools, the middle schools, and even the elementary schools. I think every school should have some form of to stop a school shooting from happening. Because if we don't have any steps of improving school shootings, then what are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? What are we going to do? It's just going to continue to happen. Just like it's been continuing to happen for decades. School shootings have been happening for so long. It's just like, when is it going to stop? What's going to happen? And we saw recently the Texas school shooting left a lot of children dead. And there's so many different narratives to this story, so many different situations. My thing is, the story should be the same, right? You should have the story, one story, and that's it. That's the truth, right? But no, every story's a little different. They're coming out with different stories. I don't know about the media, but what I was told was, some of the officers that were on the scene there didn't go in right away to stop this school shooter. Yeah, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on, but if I'm a parent and my kid, my child is going to that school, yes, I'm definitely gonna, question, what are you guys doing? You guys are 50 deep here, dude. There's one school shooter. What are you guys scared of? You know what I'm saying? I thought they misplayed that hand 100%. And I feel bad for the victims who did die and the parents that have to go through that. And I'm sure some of the parents are definitely suing, which I probably would too. If my child was killed in that shooting, and I'm thinking, well, why didn't you guys go in right away? Why don't you guys try to stop it? This is 2022, dude. We have technology. We have stuff to advance like this hey, we could stop this school shooter in 1 minute, dude. Let's go in there, barricade, let's go. That's what we're trained to do. Yeah, but I just think in the bigger picture with the school shootings, I think, it's going to continue to happen unless we have guidelines, steps to prevent it from happening. Obviously, it's probably going to happen no matter what. I just think we have to imply changes. We need more changes. What we're doing now is not good enough. That's what I'm saying about the school shootings. I mean, we look at shootings just in general in the United States. It's getting worse and worse. We look at, cities like Chicago, one of the worst places to get shot at, right? There's shootings every day. That's just another day in Chicago. And we look at Chicago gun rights, one of the most strict gun rights there is. And look at their whole state. It's so strict. Yes, they did. One thing good about Chicago and Illinois is, yes, weed is legalized there. So more jobs. But looking at the shootings, it's what's going to stop there? I just think it's really messed up. I think where we're going here in America is more towards, hey, violence is cool. Being an outsider is cool. Being, just the bully, a shooter, it's cool to do. Anything to get attention, right? Anything to get news on, whatever that case is, I think it's bad. And I do think the news, what they're feeding us daily, it's a virus. I really do believe that. If something is stealing your peace and happiness, dude, it's definitely a virus, dude. And that's what the media is today, kind of. It's everything they put out is always negative, or if it's not so negative, it's always arguments. It's if you're on the left or the right, what are you going to do? It's dude, can we just come to an agreement here? Can we just be adults here and say, you know what? I disagree with you on this topic, but you know what? Let's come to terms to agree to disagree. Let's be adults here and do this, but no, we just want to bicker at people. We want to downplay people, and we just want to talk crap about people, and that's all we want to do. And what is that doing for society? What is that doing? And we look at the media, they just continue to feed that narrative. All the negative stuff. We don't ever see the good things happening. We don't see people from being homeless, being successful in America. We don't see that. We don't see an ex-drug who was a drug addict once, and all of a sudden, no, he's not on drugs anymore. He's in a better place now. He's in a better world. We don't see that much, right? We don't. It's all a virus, dude. It really is. And I'm just starting to think, like, why? Why are we buying into this? And that really includes mental illness as well. And I think, mental illness, we're going to start to realize in 20 years from now, from 2022, we look at 2042, we're going to realize, wow, mental illness is like, probably worse than cigarettes for you, whereas, back in like, 50s and 60s, they didn't realize cigarettes were bad till they caught on to it. We're going to start to catch on to mental illness and say, yes, it's obviously a real thing. It's a terrible thing. People are taking their own lives because of this, because of the stress, the day-to-day stress here in America, which is crazy, right? We look at it today. We look at the economy today, right? All the terrible things that are happening. What is getting better in America? Gas prices are going up. Groceries are going up. Everything, dude. Everything is literally going up. And I don't see it stopping anytime soon. But that doesn't mean hit the panic button. That doesn't mean to give up the American dream, so to speak, right? I just think, with all the stuff that's happening economic-wise, it's definitely terrible. It's definitely terrible. And I'm not just going to blame one person on this or say, oh, it's his fault or her fault. No, I think it's a whole nation's fault, really. I think it's, not the whole nation's, excuse me. I would say more the higher-ups, the people who run the government. That's who it is. Because we have to realize the government isn't for us, dude. They're not our friends. You think the government cares about you? They're taking money from everybody, dude. What's the government doing to use that money? Yes, it's going to the roads. I get that, but some of it's going to Ukraine, who's in a big war right now with Russia, which is not a good thing, right? We're kind of getting our fingers into this, and it's like, dude, we shouldn't even be worried about, that, even though it kind of messed up to say, but, dude, we should not have a hand in this. We shouldn't, dude. And I think that is one of the reasons why high gas prices are up and stuff like that. But I just think, with mental illness and all this is real stuff. And I think, what causes this, right? What causes mental illness? What causes these things? What causes people to go off the deep end? And I really do think it's just one of them things where it's like a light switch, right? You just switch and it hits. Me growing up as a kid, I did have anger problems, and sometimes anger problems is not a good thing, dude. Leading to anger leads to worse things, and that's what we're doing. We're seeing the riots, we're seeing the shootings, and that's what it leads to. And I think mental illness is a battle within yourself. I really do. I don't think people are born with mental illness. I really don't. I think it really just boils down to stress, inner stress, all your surroundings, the reality you're living in, all that stuff that adds up, right? And I think that just kind of like, it adds up so much where people just want to blow up, literally blow up. It's crazy, right? But here in America, we're the land of the free, right? But there are a lot of laws that even some Americans don't even understand today, dude. They don't. Are we at peace here in America? I just think what the news, everything's offering us, it's all negative. But I want to speak on Roe versus Wade. Obviously, I'm a male, so it's much different for me. But, what I'm hearing about this is, look, they're taking away women's rights. They cannot get abortion in certain states, which I do think New York and California will be some of the exceptions to have an abortion. Do I agree with abortion? No, I don't agree with it. Now, let's say if I was a woman and I was raped, yes, I would 100% get an abortion. And people will look at me crazy sometimes. It's like, dude, I'm like, let's put ourselves in a woman's shoes for a second. Let's say we're a woman, dude, and like we have a kid where we got raped, dude. Like, you really gonna want to raise that kid? You're gonna want to look that kid in the eye and be like, man, like, this is the same, kind of looks like the guy who raped me. I couldn't do that. That's really the only time I'd get an abortion. Now, on the flip side of this, Roe versus Wade, I think there are institutions where there could be a good adoption. People who get adopted here in America now, obviously there are bad situations where these kids grow up, become drug addicts, just got in the system, just got into troublemaker, didn't have a mom or a dad in their life, stuff like that. Yes, that's the negative part. But let's look at the positive part of adoption, of saving a baby's life. I do believe that. I truly do. But that's my only thought, my only reason of getting an abortion if I was raped. And rape happens all the time. It really does. But I just think the whole narrative of Roe versus Wade, I think it really boils down to religion as well. I think religion is playing a huge role into this. Who am I to tell you what to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, in women today, it's much different than it was, 50 years ago, even 100 years ago. I just think the old school way of thinking is like, hey, you got to have that kid no matter what. I don't care what you say, right? But that's just so old school, right? But I can't really wrap my mind around it, right? But at the end of the day, I just think, saving childs is the way to go. We do need to save childs, but obviously, super left or super hardcore liberals would 100% disagree, right? But let's agree to disagree here. There could be light at this tunnel right here, Roe versus Wade, although mostly some of the women's rights are being taken away. Having a woman become raped and saying, hey, you have to get that child or else you got to go out of state to perform your abortion, but you can't have an abortion here in the state. I think that's ridiculous, dude. I think that's taking away some of your freedom and some of your constitutional rights as an American citizen, dude. Like, to say what you're going to do, like, with your own body, dude, it's crazy, dude. And I think some women, that's why they're upset right now, which does kind of make sense. It's like, it's crazy, dude. It's just a whole melting pot of what America's becoming right now. And it's not going in the right direction. It really isn't. And I think, everything's so, like, kind of like narrative or like, which are you, what side are you on? It's like, dude, we're on the human side here, dude. We are all brothers and sisters in this, dude. Like, seriously, like, we want to look at each other as enemies now. That's what the enemy wants us to do. They want us to be mad. They want us to fight. They want us to start riots. They want us to shoot people. Like, that's what they want to do. They want to give in to the anger. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what America was based on, dude. We cannot lead this America, our generation right now. I mean, we look how far we've improved in the past 40 years, dude. Like, from no internet to, like, crazy internet to where we can get anything we've ever wanted on the fingertips in seconds, dude. To whereas 20, 30 years ago, dude, like, yeah, you might have dial-up. Let's go back back in the 70s. They didn't have internet, dude. They had to go to the libraries. They had to do more research than what we have to do now. So I think living in 2022 right now is truly a blessing in a way. Yes, I understand inflation's up like 14%, all that. But I just think looking at it now, like, looking at the good things about America, right? I mean, we have food everywhere. We have so many options to eat. We're, more likely than not, we're not going to go out starving. To whereas in third world countries, like, people really go, they starve to death, dude. They don't have food, dude. They don't have shelter. They don't have heat, AC, dude. They don't have cars. They don't have any of this, dude. They don't have cell phones. Like, some people don't even know what social media is, dude. They don't know what Twitter, Instagram is. They don't know what TikTok is. They don't know what any of that shit is, dude. Like, that's some real shit, and people live like that, dude. Like, it's mind-boggling, right? It's hard to believe, but it's so true. But I just think as a whole, as America, we have to come together, because if we're continuing to try to be enemies, we try to give into certain things, like, it's just not going to go right. I really do believe that. But what's America going to be like in the next 20 years? This is going to be crazy, right? I think in the next 20 years, artificial intelligence, look, I'm telling you, it's already taken off right now. It's already taken some jobs. I think in 20 years, artificial intelligence is the future. It's going to be the future in 20 years. Believe it or not, I think we're going to have artificial intelligence. They're already designing it right now. Cyborgs. They're going to do so many jobs where it's like, dude, we don't need humans to do these type of jobs anymore. It's kind of messed up, right? We kind of created a monster in disguise here. Like, we're going to be able to control the AI and be able to function, stuff like that. It's going to get kind of weird, though. There's going to be people out there who are like, oh, man, this AI's hot. How can we tell an AI from a real human? You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are really going to try to have sex with AIs, robots. I'm telling you, it's going to happen, dude, one time or another. I know that's messed up to even think about, but I think it's going to happen, dude. I really do. It's way off left field, right? It is, but I mean, look where America's going right now. We're going way off left field, and I think we're going to even go more left with that, with artificial intelligence. But I just think some of the things that we need to clear up on, definitely the media. I think the media, when we continue to dive in, and I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty of diving into the media, trying to see what it's about, everything. I think it's not good when it steals your peace. We know this. I just think overall, dude, where are we going? We need new leaders. We need leadership here in America. We need people to agree to disagree. We don't need people to shoot each other over something silly, which happens, dude. People die over Jordans. Like, that's the reality, dude. And we don't see that in the media, right? We don't see people dying over Jordans, but it happens. It happens. People die over $1,000, dude. $1,000. 1,000, dude. Really? 1,000 people are gonna die over that, man. That is crazy, dude. To me, that is insane. But looking at it right now, I just think we need happiness and we need peace, most importantly, and we need God. That's who we need, bro. We need God in our lives, because if we don't have God, we're going to stray off way, way out there to where we're not even going to have a paddle in the ocean. We're just going to, drift wherever the ocean takes us. We don't know where we're going. That's kind of like what it is, dude. We need leadership. We need to go somewhere where we're like, hey, this is the goal we need. We need to get inflation down. We need gas prices to go down to $2. We need the grocery stores to be half the price. We don't need rent to be skyrocketing right now. We need to lower this stuff for the economy, for the American people, the blue-collar people out there that are working their asses off day in and day out for 50-some years of their life, dude. Like, that's the reality there. Let's not forget that. The blue-collar people, the people who are there for us. Even the law enforcement. I know a lot of people hate the law enforcement, but there are good cops. But there's also bad cops as well. But I just think, looking at the bigger picture, it's with us. We're so judgmental on certain people or what they do, or their race. And speaking of race, I don't believe there is a race. Do you think God believes in race? When God created humanity, do you think he was like, yeah, dude, like, light skin, dark skin, no, dude. It was all one human race, dude. Race is built on the government, off the institution, to make you believe that, dude. Do you think that really race is real? We breathe the same air. We bleed the same. So you're going to judge me from my skin color? That's what it's going to come down to? That's what society's been. It's been like that for centuries, dude. Maybe not. Maybe it's not been like that for centuries. Maybe it's been like that only for the past, 500-600 years, which is a couple centuries. I get that. But, looking at, I'm saying thousands upon thousands of years. Let's go back from 10,000 BC before Jesus was here. What about that? Were they about that? I just think, it's so like, oh, it's so posse. Like, what crew are you with? No, dude, we're all in this together, dude. And when we look at America and people be like, Cap, you're on one right now. No, we're not together. And I get it. People want to separate us and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I think God looks at it like, hey, we're all his children. No matter what we look like, beautiful or ugly, fat or skinny, tall or short, it doesn't matter. God loves us all, dude, whether we sin or whether we do terrible things in life or great things in life, whether we help people or scam people. God still loves you, dude. He really does. I believe that. So I just think as America, as people right now in 2022 going forward, we're going to have to come out with different steps, different institutions, different leadership here. Okay, instead of just like tearing each other down, we need to build each other up and continue to build each other up to success, to happiness, to leadership, to people who want to go be something in life, dude. Instead of being depressed and negative and saying all the bad things about your life, let's count your blessings in your own life. I like to count my blessings. I try to say 3 blessings of my life daily and be like, what am I happy about? What am I fortunate about? I'm fortunate to be born in America. I'm fortunate to have a car. I'm fortunate to do these things here in America. I'm fortunate to be able to eat whenever I want, wherever I want here in America. You know what I'm saying? People don't have this type of access. So I think it's easy to, don't look at the bad things, right? It's so easy to do that, but it's also, really, really hard to look at all your blessings and say, man, this is thank you, God, for this. Thank you for this blessing, because we have to understand not everybody can handle God's blessing. So I just think as humans in 2022, our society, we have to come together and work together, baby. It's the Clown with Cam show. Let's go!